I'm Kirk, and I'm about to tell you how coffee derailed my career and changed my life. 20 years ago, I was working in tech. I was depressed and totally lost. My father worked in coffee, and he took me on a trip with him around the world. He showed me how the world could connect in a cup of coffee, and it changed my life. I quit my job, started a coffee business, and I've been traveling the world ever since, searching for the best coffees on the planet. Now, when the world can feel so divided, I'm on a mission. I'm traveling to the 48 most amazing coffee countries on the planet to discover the inspiring people and incredible places behind your cup of coffee, to highlight local innovators and changemakers and surprise them with gratitude, to see how we're all connected through this amazing being. Come with me on this first trip as we visit a guru on the shores of a mystical lake, meet an inspiring woman who's dancing children off the streets as something unexpected and life-changing bonds us forever, and come explore a coffee farm at the foot of an active volcano. We're going to Guatemala, so let's see where coffee takes you. Bright and early, we pack into the van and hit the road, heading to the countryside towards the base of Acatenango volcano, to an award-winning coffee finca named San Miguel. Run by Sebastian and his father Don Estuardo, Finca San Miguel has been in the same family for 5 generations. With acres upon acres of coffee plants, shaded beneath tall, swaying macadamia and gravilea trees, Finca San Miguel is a classic example of an Antiguan finca.
So we are at the moment that we're about to finish our harvest. We do these 3 or 4 pickings because we just want the really ripe cherry. And that is what gonna give you the sweetness, the flavors, and with a good process, you'll get this amazing cup of coffee.
Obviously there's a lot of pre-work, but when the coffee beans come, they're the first step. Their fingers are that first step, making that judgment call in what we're tasting. And that's a part of our narrative, is really, we're all together, and when you're taking that sip of coffee, we can just forget about how it all starts. But really what we're trying to show here is, like, we're all one. You're sipping this coffee from the hands of a local Guatemalan Mayan descent. The history, is that the volcano?
Yeah, that's the volcano.
That's great.
That is crazy.
And so really, like, we're all interconnected, whether it's in Germany or America or me or whoever, Ohio, Wisconsin.
It is a really great way to put that.
As we drive beneath the volcano, I marvel at this spectacular finca and how similar Sebastian is to me when I was younger. I'm so impressed at the deep knowledge he has of every step of the coffee growing process. Seeing the bond between Sebastian and his father reminds me so much of my dad and me. The warmth of their hospitality is genuine and amazing. I can't wait to taste their coffee. We head to San Miguel headquarters, a former nursery transformed into a modern cafe, where I'm greeted by Sebastian's cousin, Adrian. He takes us to their private back room for a tasting, or as we call it in the coffee world, a cupping session. The first step is to freshly grind the beans and then breathe in the aroma.
Put your hand over it and take a big sniff. And this is where you'll notice, like, either there'll be fruity notes or chocolatey notes, how acidic it is, and peach notes, etc. The best cuppers already know what the coffee's gonna taste like in this phase.
I do. I know what it's going to be.
There you go, Brooke.
Next, they pour the water, heated at exactly 200 degrees Fahrenheit. But we don't drink it just yet.
The coffee has been sitting with the water for 4 minutes. The idea is for us to smell the aroma. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get very close to the coffee and we're gonna break the crust 3 times.
You guys ready? This is my first cupping. Don't mess it up.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think I'm smelling citrusy.
What was your opinion on that one?
I was focusing on the camera.
After breaking the crust on all the samples, at last, it's time to taste the coffee. And in a cupping session, it's done a little differently.
Basically, you want the best coffee to have a nice body, to have good acidity, good sweetness, good aftertaste as a whole. The idea is for you to slurp and basically vacuum the coffee and just try to take it all in as fast as you can.
That's cool. That's getting better and better. Yeah. Oh wow, this was the most complex coffee out of all of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that one.
The Volcano Flank Finca, the Flower Shop Cafe, and the coffee were all sensational. But what happens next really blows my mind. Next up, Lake Atitlan. Lake Atitlan has a mystical energy, which many attribute to the 3 volcanoes surrounding it. As I cross the lake, I head to the village of San Marcos, in search of a holy man who's rumored to be a gifted tarot reader. I've been grappling with self-doubt, wondering if this massive undertaking of filming in 48 countries around the world is even possible. As I question where all this is taking me, I sit to have my tarot read.
And so your first card up, the Knight of Wands, is looking for the right place to plant your energy. The Ace of Swords, which means divine power. Right ahead is the Emperor, the Father. Means that no matter how important this project is to you, the actual really important thing is you and your family. Eventual outcome is the Fool. Now the Fool is the beginning and the end of the pack. The Fool represents complete freedom. Means that your endeavor is going to bring you freedom. Once you get out of the way of it, once you get out of the way of yourself, it's a good outcome. Stay with it.
I think about Jitendra's words, how I dreamed up this idea 10 years ago with my dad, and then he passed away. So here I am, the Fool. For the first time in my life, I've got to trust the journey. What happens next shakes me to my core. Nearby in Panajachel, I heard about an American woman who's running an unusual non-profit ballet school.
Five, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Miss Christine is very cool and she is so pretty and beautiful.
My favorite thing about Miss Christine is that she's a really nice person. She's good with me.
She is like my second best friend in the life.
Originally from New York City, life's twists and turns found her in Lake Atitlan with something that can only be described as a calling.
So I always, first of all, say that I didn't start it. It was God's plan. Because I came to Guatemala for my grad school internship to work with artisans, and 2 dream jobs just fell through, and then I started teaching ballet as a form of income, and then it really shifted when I started accepting kids on scholarship from the street and working with orphanages. We just love to find a way where we can show kids that they're beautiful on the inside and on the outside, no matter what's happening in their life. Because kids, whether they're from the orphanage or they're kids who sell in the street, if there's domestic abuse in the house, they're thinking about that in dance class. But this is a space where they can just express themselves, have a challenge, and be able to reach and achieve goals. And someone saying, you know, I can't fix what's happening at home, but I can walk with you as you're going through whatever you're going through is what we are offering here.
What's the big impact that you're seeing the program make? Ballet, I see the tutoring, but I'm really curious about ballet.
Yeah, it blows my mind always. The first girl who joined us from the orphanage, she's now doing better in school, getting along with all the other girls, and her self-esteem was raised just because of the dance program. Every day I wake up excited to do what I do. It's a really blessed space to be able to be in.
What does it cost to get like some of these students? Like if you want to, you said a scholarship, for example, what's the base cost?
It's like $25 to $35 a month just for dance classes. But the thing about our program is that we also have like tutoring that we don't charge, English that we don't charge, a lot of other classes that are happening that accrue cost.
Speaking to these kids and seeing through their eyes the impact that you're making really shook me. I have 3 kids now, so I kind of get it. And with that said, it really moved me, and we want to go ahead where Coffee Takes You wants to donate $10,000.
What the heck? To this program?
It's really amazing what you're doing, Christine. It really is amazing. Thank you, Christine. Truly, thank you.
I'm truly blown away by the emotion of meeting Miss Christine. It feels like my dad is guiding me on this journey. Maybe I am on the right path.
Every trip to Guatemala, I'd always, my dad and I would always visit Antigua. This was actually a church we always came to. And I vividly remember him interacting with some of the kids, just laughing. And I never used to take pictures of him. And for some reason, that when I said, Dad, I want you to stand right in front of that rosary, and I gave him this big fat hug, and it kind of almost for me felt like it might have been our last trip here together. It's really a special moment to be here again and remember him.
As we head to Guatemala's most famous historical site, I find myself thinking about time. The precious time Miss Christine gives to her young students. The time over 1,000 years ago, ancient Mayans spent building this breathtaking architectural wonder, Tikal. The time I'll spend with my children as they grow. The time I no longer have with my dad, and how he can inspire all of us to let go of the things that hold us back, to take the journey, to follow our dreams.
He always said, trust me, son. Just know the world is yours. Don't have misconceptions, don't judge cultures, don't judge anything, and be open to it. And you will have one of the most magical lives you can live in this short span. This is magical. I mean, cheers to my dad.
This is where coffee takes you. Subscribe and continue this journey with us to our next exciting destination. To learn how you can support Miss Christine and other inspiring changemakers we meet, and to experience our exclusive coffees, visit angelinos.com/travel.